at that resistance or support level rather at the 61.8, psychological level of 34,000 is broken that into the consolidation. We know how often if we get inside, we can see the other side. Longs are still above the 100. If we get to this 50 level, so halfway to our consolidation, we'll relook at labeling that above the 61.8. But everything at the moment just telling me short. We can see those moving averages, 8 and 21 has crossed over. We're below the 50 moving average, closed below that last week. We're in the consolidation area with a stochastic. What we want to see now is that follow through if we're going to go to the other side of this consolidation. Sitting at that 50 level, we want to see that break, as we are below the 50 moving average already. So we didn't get a 50-50 there. However, if that can follow through, we'll start watching for that below 38.2. We can start looking at more downside there. Trend is absolutely down.
All right, looking at our monthly high low, we've broken below the zero of our monthly today, which means we have massive targets to look forward to the downside at that -127. I think from where we are right now, that's another 621 points. So yeah, massive targets to the downside. That zero is now going to become our support. That -127 is now our that -127 is our support. That zero is our resistance. And we can see nicely how our 8 has crossed below 21. That 21's even crossed the 50. So moving averages are indicating nice, confirmed our trend is down. And we also have stochastic quite a bit below our signal line there. Stochastic all the way there below the 11, getting very close to that zero level and below the 50. So across the board, everything is indicating trend is down, and we have indication now to massive targets to the downside.
Yeah, I just want to point something out on this chart. Look at our stochastic straight down through 50, straight down through the 11. It looks like there's a little hiccup there. That's just because the market closed on Friday and that little green candle of Sunday night. We ignore that. Look at that stochastic straight down through 50, through the 11. Excuse me, 60% of this run to go. So from there to there, if we measure that, I mean, just by eye, I can see us aiming towards that 127, not at all impossible. There's our weekly high low. We have triggered short below the zero level. I can remove the screen line there. That was just for us to have a look at support around that 61.8 on the weekly. We've broken previous candle lows. They triggered first targets at 127. Sorry, let me get rid of that. And then take profit level at the 161. Longs now, because we are below that zero, if we are going to turn, candle close above the zero, break previous candle high, we're aiming for the 38.2. Sorry, this should be there. There we go. 38.2 as our target level. So 50 moving average about halfway at that 23. We'll look at that. Everything is telling me to stay short here. We've got outstanding targets at least until we get to that 127, and we'll look at that. Stochastic below the 11, as long as it stays there, we want to stay short. Quite oversold, but let's keep an eye on that stochastic. If that's exact around this 11 area, yes, we're aiming for those targets. Well, that's just done it. 9 hours just done its own thing today. It just went through all the levels. Okay, I'll carry on. Sorry, Sam's unplugged.
Oh shit, sorry.
No stress. I was thinking you talking to yourself there, mate.
No, I was. But yeah. So we bulldozed all the way down through that 38.2. Found a little bit of support at -127, but we don't really use that level in any case. So we can just see very strong momentum to the downside as we hit that first and second target, broken all those levels. So then on the 9 hour, there's nothing really we can look at.
Sure. On the ABCs, we have to wait for a retracement. We've reached all those targets to the downside. We're going to keep an eye on that. So I want to see there's quite a bit of support. Look at that there. That's that low of, or the high of the consolidation area, more or less. So we're just struggling with that a little bit at the moment, or it's acting as resistance right now, broken through that level. So nothing really on the ABCs. 5 minutes. So there we go. Daily high low. Look how we've hit that 161 perfectly. Perfect respect to that. So next trigger for us now, we can move this, will be a candle close. Above the 127, break previous candle high, we're aiming for the 0 level there. We've got no more targets to the downside on this time frame or on this strategy. Trend is down on the 5 minutes, stochastic, starting to push up a little bit as we've reached those targets. Above the, broken up through the 11 and the 20, possibly going back to the 50 moving average. That is catching up quite quickly. We've got about 13 minutes until we get to opening. Opening range we'll get to in a bit, and as I said, on the 5 minute on the ABCs, we've got to wait for retracement. I've got absolutely nothing there for us.
On the nasdaq yearly high and low, it's a very similar situation. We've broken down to the 50 moving average. 821 has actually crossed for the first time since the COVID fall of 2020. So that's indicating that the trend is actually now down on the yearly picture. We've closed below the 50, broken that low. So we can actually look at our 89 moving average there. Same as we were saying this morning on I think the DAX or the Aussie. Now that we've closed below that 50, broken that low, we can actually look at 89 moving average for a target to the downside. We do have that 38.2 coming up for support. Our resistance on that will be the 50 level. So below that 38.2, really, we can start looking at shorts, the 23 and 11. And that's also in alignment with our zone moving averages.
It's our daily picture, end of day. So weekly, a monthly high low, reached all targets. I've got this 200 here. We don't really trade it. I've just put that level in as a support. So only setups for us here would be longs above the 161. We really have nothing here, but the trend clearly down. Green below red, below blue, and we're trading below the 11 on the stochastic. As long as we stay there, we want to remain short, but I have got absolutely no more targets to the downside.
All right. Here we are on our weekly high low. We are below the 0 level. We've got that trigger short. And with that, we have also confirmation that the trend is down as our 8 is below 21, below 50. And we also have stochastic below signal line there bouncing around the 0 and the 11. We do need to watch. We haven't quite hit that negative 127, but I do seem to see a little bit of support coming in there at the market at the moment. So support holds, we can look at possibly taking a long up through 0 to the 23 first target and 38.2 our final target. Otherwise, if we keep pushing down, break that negative 127 is we're looking at that negative 161 as our final target for the short that has triggered here.
Sure. ABC, similar story as the Dow there. We've reached all our extended targets to the downside. We've got nothing until we start getting at least a little bit of retracement. Even on the 5 minutes, we don't really have anything there yet to suggest that we can start looking at an ABC up here. Daily high lows, a similar story to the Dow. We've reached those targets to the downside, the 161. We did close below it, but only just. For me, that's a little bit quick to take a trigger long above that 161, aiming back for the 127. Nonetheless, if you did take it, stop is about halfway between that 161 and the 200 level. Otherwise, for me, the next long would be only a candle close above the 127. We're aiming for that 0 level. Watch this 50 moving average as we coming into opening. Trend is down, green below red, below blue, and stochastic is below the consolidation, but similar to the Dow, it's broken up through its own signal line, quite low and below the 11. So quite often an indication if we do get this follow through up through the 20, that we're going back to that 50 moving average. So straight up through the 11, up through the 20, but just finding a little bit of resistance at that 8 moving average right now. An opening range we'll get to as that does its thing. And as I said, ABCs, I've got absolutely nothing here. That was my last little ABC setup ahead. And then obviously we just broke through all of those levels.
We have about 10 minutes to go until that opening.
Yeah, let's jump straight into the 1 minutes here.